We have come now to the end of the year, the end of the liturgical, the church year, Christ the King Sunday. If I remember my history correct, this particular observance of Christ the King was established by the Pope in 1917. And in the midst of all of the chaos that was going on in the world, what with World War I, the war to end all wars, I guess not. It was in essence the Pope's way of leading the church, all Christians, to say that even in the midst of the chaos, it is Jesus who rules over the world. Jesus is the King of the world. They all agree, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. All of them agree that Jesus did not come to the end of his days all alone. But there was a man on his right and there was another on his left who shared in the pain and the disgrace of crucifixion. The three of them together riding crosses of wood into eternity. Now, what these two did to actually end up with a cross of their own, no one seems to know, or maybe it doesn't seem to be all that concerning to those who write them, so they never relay it to us. Certainly Luke doesn't say anything about it to us today. Rest assured, though, I'm sure that it probably wasn't pickpocketing, or grand theft auto, or grand chariot auto, whatever it might be. The Romans, as I understand it, could be pretty judicious in doling out wood and nails. And my guess would be that what they are accused of doing is something serious in terms of sedition, something that was a direct challenge to the authority of Rome, something that if others were suddenly to take up the cue and to follow suit, could have turned Jerusalem, all of Jerusalem, into a hornet's nest. The Romans loved order. And if it meant crucifying someone to send a message, that's exactly what they did. All of the gospel writers agree that Jesus did not die alone. But only Luke, fortunately for us, was able to capture just a snippet of the conversation and to make out some words between gasps and groans before these two criminals lapsed into permanent silence. However, Luke doesn't know the names. And as in the case of the three wise men, in fact, we don't even know for sure that there are three wise men. We've always assumed there were three wise men because there were three gifts. Maybe there were two, and one brought two. We don't know. We don't know. Nor does Matthew, for that matter, tell us their names. But later tradition gives us the names. You know them, right? Casper, Melchior, and who is it? Balthasar. There you go. And it was the task of writers who came much later. In fact, in a gospel I am certain most of you have never heard of before, one that we don't read from because it is more than likely a good 100 to 150 years after the fact. The Gospel of Nicodemus gives us the names, which, by the way, is Dismas, who was the one who defended Jesus, and Gestas, the one who Barbara Brown Taylor says if she could have turned around, if he could have possibly turned around and positioned himself, might have actually spit on Jesus. Gestas is the one, you remember the Passion of the Christ? Nobody? Remembers the Passion of the Christ? And typical Mel Gibson fashion, the Gestas berates Jesus, and then the bird, do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, it's good to know. Just thought I'd give you a test. As in the case of just about, I'm sure, all callings and professions in life, pastors have a tendency to get together and we share notes and experiences and insights. And one of the things that many of us have noticed, one of the lessons that we have learned, is in our vocation, as we are called and have the privilege oftentimes of walking with people day by day from one moment to another, closer and closer to eternity. We have all noticed that the approach of death brings a kind of metamorphosis. People, someone wrote, have a tendency to become, in a sense, kind of condensed versions of themselves. All of the energy, and we all do this, all of us, even the pastor does this. All of that energy that you and I use to keep up appearances and to keep our public mask on straight, well, that energy goes away. You are a product of your life. And the energy that is left is used to hold on, and in the process, the dying person has a tendency to become more himself or herself. Some become, as one wrote, as mean as water moccasins, and others become as lowly and as luminous as angels. I can't even begin to count all the people that I have walked with in 30 plus years. I can honestly tell you, and I have a fair amount of experience with this, not one person at St. Mark ever became mean as a water moccasin. They all became as lowly and luminous as angels. It is not, I think, this morning a stretch to see Gestas as a bitter man with facial muscles that have forgotten and lost the ability to form even a basic smile. A bitterness, I'm sure, born of disappointment and the cascade of unfair things that come to all of us. Admittedly, the truth. Some, it seems to me, experience more unfair things than others. But the truth is we have all experienced the injustice and the unfairness of life. I guess you could say there is a little bit of Gestas in all of us, but I have noticed in my years that there are some people who toy with the Gestas within, who nurture that Gestas, and become, unfortunately, sad 21st century versions of them, which frankly is hard for me to deal with. And sometimes, as patient as I think I am, there have been a few times in my life when I have been sorely tempted to deliver a fiery lecture. You know Gestas to a considerable degree, not totally, but to a considerable degree. You are where you are in life because of decisions you made. Yes? Yes. Choices you didn't make yesterday and last week and 5 years ago and 20 years ago. As you have heard me say before, not all pain and suffering is a mystery. Not all of it. Some of it, yes, but not all of it. Sometimes we limp in life because you keep shooting yourself in the foot. It's called the truth. And I guess if I were to do that, it would be good for a momentary release. But a wagging finger, I have found, and a fiery lecture never really changed anyone. Never manages to penetrate deep enough to soften a heart that has grown as cold and hard as a glacier. There is only one thing that I know, and one person that I know, who can reach that deep into a human being and can take hold and transform a heart of lifeless stone. But this morning, as you are reminded, Gestas turned away, didn't he? Another choice. He turned away. He wrote Jesus off. Dismas acknowledges this morning that the punishment fits the crime. He owns up to it. He says to Gestas and to all, I am not a victim. Boy, is that refreshing. I am not a victim. I am here because, well, he takes responsibility. And in a situation that drives Gestas to despair, Dismas turns in hope to the one who is tied and nailed beneath a sign that says, the King of the Jews. He turns his head and he speaks words that are the most moving prayer in all of the Bible. Jesus, remember me. Remember me. Because this cross says, I am a nobody. This cross says that not a single soul will remember me, not a single soul will recall my name. There will surely come a point, as Job says, and true for all of us, there will come a day when their own people will not remember them. Jesus, remember me. Remember me. Because without that, there will come a time when no one will even remember the faintest outline of my face. And it will be as if I never existed and the years in this world didn't matter at all. Jesus, remember me. It's a prayer that is wrung from a heart that has come to the end. He desires to entertain the wild hope that the sign above this man's head isn't a joke, which is what it was meant to be. And they put it in 3 languages, so everybody would get it. But Dismas thinks it just might be true. Today you will be with me in paradise. Jesus struggles to say, and if it were anyone else other than Jesus, it would be a laughable picture in no uncertain terms. The irony of ironies, the pinnacle of all paradoxes in the world, is that the one, and they were right when they said it, who cannot save himself, has the power to speak a word that opens the door wide to a place of paradise where he walks, this man in honor, beside Jesus to the still waters. We're forced at times to ask ourselves, does Jesus dying, holding fast to delusions of grandeur, or does the sign above his head point to something that is so true that it would take a lifetime of Lenten Wednesdays even just to touch? As I reminded a large crowd who gathered to say goodbye yesterday to Elizabeth Kolineski, there is absolutely no reason in the world for you to be here this morning. There is no reason in the world for a building such as this, save the fact that beyond the cross was life. Something that enables us to see that sign above Jesus' head in a totally different way. I have looked at all the explanations. I have read countless books. And all I can tell you when all is said and done is that it seems to be undeniable that something really did happen. That Easter happened. That stone really did move. And he came to men and women, the scriptures show, who were so shaken and so overwhelmed by his presence that they couldn't even believe it. They came to see from short order that Jesus shares fully in the power and the life and the authority of God. A power that not only saved Dismas, he saves us from every power that threatens us. When I was in seminary, I had a prof that, I don't know, we didn't get along. And here all these years later, so many of the things that he said follow me. Some 30 some odd years later, there are things that he said that still haunt me. And I remember him saying, who is the Messiah? Who is